This is the fastest way to progress in any Minecraft world. Better than all the other perfect starts on YouTube. Not even 100 days needed. I not only kill the Ender Dragon, build an iron farm on just day 3, got a full diamond set on day 9, build all the necessary farms to get me to the end game. But I use some pretty neat tricks to get me there way faster. Stick around and find out how. On day 1 I looted the spawn village. A couple of things you should know about the world. First, I'm using a set seed I found online. Second, I'm using chunk base for a faster playstyle. If you don't know what chunk base is, it is basically a website that helps you find the closest structures or biomes you may need. Both the seed and the site can be found in the description, plus tutorials for any farms I build in the video. The rest of the day, I spend crafting gear and traveling to the closest jungle. When I got there, all I needed was some bamboo. On the way back, I tamed some dogs from the new update. On day 2, I planted the bamboo. Since I don't have enough, I will replant whatever grows later. The only reason for farming bamboo is to be used for wood. It's faster for farming than any other log type, especially when we automate it later. The rest of the day I used for decorating the blacksmith and making it suitable to live in it, replanting the bamboo, and relocating all the villagers in one place. On day 3, I continued replanting the bamboo and build an iron farm. On day 4, I started working on a villager breeder. This run, like many others, rely on villager trading. I've seen people who immediately start looting ancient cities for gear, but villagers are much more reliant. I started working on a string dubber in the night, but got interrupted by phantoms, so I had to sleep for the first time in the world, getting me to day 5, where I finished the string duper. We will need all this string to start trading with fishermen for early emeralds. Speaking of trading, let's build the trading hall. We will need the following villagers in there. For fishermen, you can go for more, but if you spend your emerald smart, there is no need. 1 or 2 farmers to buy bread for villager breading, and golden carrots as a food source. Armorer for diamond armor. Toolsmith for pickaxe and shovel. Weaponsmith for sword and axe. And also some clerics for lapis, redstone, and XP bottles for quick mends. On day 6, I got the first villagers and traded some string with them. The trapdoors are so baby zombies can't get in. In the night, I decided to build this crop farm to speed up villager breeding. It is not necessary at all since I will be removing it shortly after, but I had some time to kill because I was waiting for my villagers to grow up. On the morning of day 7, I went out to get some sugarcane to build this early game farm. I will need it for fireworks when I get the elytra. I will build a bigger farm later in this world. For the rest of day 7, I harvested farms and got the remaining to fishermen. Although I kept hearing zombies and it got annoying, guess there is a cave nearby. Here is a simple trick to find it. You are looking at the C and E coordinate. Whichever way it spikes, there should be a cave. On day 8, I started off with naming my first dog Jake, harvested farms and traded with villagers, got a farmer and a toolsmith, and started leveling them immediately. On day 9, I went out to gather obsidian for a portal. I also got an armorer and a weaponsmith, leveled them up, and got full diamond before day 10. Because on day 10 I went into the nether. There was a fortress nearby, but I wanted a bastion first, so I used chunk base to find one. I never learned how piglin aggro works, but I was being extra careful not to anger them. I will use all the gold for bartering for pearls. I went to a bastion first so I can get fire race before fighting the blazes. It's not necessary, but it makes it easier. I got a smithing template upgrade in here, which will save us time looking for it later. Explored the rest of the bastion, got the pearls and the fire race, so I'm headed to the stronghold now. After I got all the blazer rods and explored the fortress, I got out of the nether. Looks like it took me a while to get out of the nether, since it was already day 12. But I got straight to more trading, and even acquired the first cleric. Using the gold from the nether and the redstone from the cleric, I crafted rails to make a collection system for the bamboo farm. Honestly, It was waste of time since I'm still breaking it manually, especially when it took me this long to remember how to make an unloader. Because it is already day 13. Besides that, all I did that day was to work on the villagers and harvest farms. Same as day 14. Except that, I started getting ready for the end. Crafted the eyes, and threw the first one hoping to not break. Just kidding. Of course, I used chunk base to find the stronghold. And on day 15, I arrived at the exact location. Now I just have to find the room. Honestly, it took me quite a while. But before entering, I will build a nether portal for when I need to come back. I did not see it in-game, but the egg went into the portal. I spent so long looking for it. Until on day 16 I realized what had happened and went back to look for it. And as I thought it was there. Now let's get back to the end. Again, I was using chunk base, so it wasn't hard to find the cities. The F3 screen is showing day 19. I organized some storage into my ender chest and went back to the stronghold because I forgot to get books. I needed them mainly for lecterns, but I will also make an enchanting later. I re-rolled the librarians quite a bit. Here are all the book trades I got. The other enchants I either already have from the end cities or will get from the enchanting table. The rest of the day plus day 21 was spent re-rolling and enchanting, and I got most of my gear done. But on day 22, I started working on another farm. A raid farm. You might have caught a similar theme through most of the farms so far. Although they are not the most efficient designs, they are extremely simple and cheap to build. After all, I am trying to progress as fast as possible, so I'm not wasting any extra time on a farm I'm not going to use to the fullest. It's the night of day 23, and the farm is done. But before I show you, I have to get Bad Omen to start it. Here it is. It is a manual, not applicable farm with only one villager. I don't really need anything better, but I can always build another farm in the future. I spend all day 23 and day 20 for farming, and this is what I've got. I will be farming quite a bit more, but for now it's enough. I mostly needed the emeralds for trading for more books, but the totems are also a huge win. Next, I went on to enchant my gear. On day 25 I build a snow farm, because I need a lot of building blocks for the next farm. Traded for some shovels, and went ham on the snow. This is all the building blocks I need, but I also have to get a lot of wood. So I choked some spruce since the bamboo wasn't cutting it for this project. Day 26 was just more farming. Day 27 I started working on the farm. While building the farm I accidentally left the world on. I went to get some food. So on day 30 the farm was finished. But I also AFK'd until day 32. So unfortunately, I wasted a lot of time on this farm. But there's still a lot of time to get everything done. If somehow you still don't know, the farm I just built is a creeper farm, mainly for fireworks, but TNT will be useful too. Somehow I didn't learn my lesson and went AFK for the rest of the day. On day 33 I crafted some TNT, pillared up in the nether, purled through the bedrock. Build this thing. Made a hole. Broke the old portal and built a new one. Also one for the raid and creeper farm, and one for the end. Day 30 for 35 and 36 I farmed raids for extra XP and emeralds. I used the XP to craft a max axe and shovel. Now my entire set is max enchanted. The enchants I'm still missing are Thorns, because it's trash, Soul Speed, which we will get later, and Swift Sneak, for which we need an ancient city. Plus I do not have a fortune pickaxe, but with this progression path, it's only useful for diamond mining. Day 37 I use chunk base once again to find a nice fortress. It's time to get a beacon. And for that, I need to kill some wither skeletons. Day 37 and 38 were wasted killing wither skeletons and traveling back. So on day 39, I had to kill the wither. I spent the rest of the day and all of day 40 farming emeralds for the beacon. You can also do it with iron blocks, but you have to build the iron farm in the spawn chunks so it can work constantly. And I believe that after 1.20, the spawn chunks were decreased to 3x3. So I didn't even bother since it's just a starter farm. On day 41 I placed the beacon. Later I removed it because it's needed somewhere else. So it was just for the clip. And I needed it to speed up obsidian mining. I could have just built a farm. Plus, I already had the wither skulls farmed, but decided to do it later in this world, since none of the projects I have planned for this video require too much obi. After that I bred some turtles, and on day 42 I harvested the eggs. And I'm collecting eggs and obi because I'm building a gold farm. I love this design because it's incredibly simple and easy to build, unlike every other gold farm. But of course, that means it can't be compared to the efficiency of the other designs. Plus it has manual killing system, so it's harder to AFK on. So later in the world, I'm going to build another farm, but for now this one is enough. On day 43 it was already done, so I farmed all day plus day 44. On day 45 I started building the bartering station. I don't recommend building this design since it only supports 3 piglins trading at once. But once again, I'm building a super simple design just to get it out of the way and progress faster. Getting the piglins was a disaster since none wanted to spawn. And it took me until day 47 to start bartering. Once again, I accidentally left my world running for longer than I intended. So at the end of day 49, I was sorting through the stuff I got. On day 50 I was farming resources for a slime farm. And got my second dog. Named him Blake. At this point the video is getting a little repetitive, so let's speedrun the next few days. On day 51 I linked the portal to where the farm was going to be. I worked on the farm until day 53. I stayed AFK at the farm all day 54. Day 55 gathered resources again. Day 56 I built a gravity duper. Sat AFK until day 59. And on day 60 I crafted TNT and went netherite mining until day 63. On day 64 I went to explore an ancient city, but didn't find the silence trim, so I went to a second city. While I was there I gathered some diamonds for all the trims and netherite upgrades. I came back on day 66 and mined all the ores with fortune, crafted the extra trims and netherite upgrades I needed, and got myself to full netherite. After that, I went on a ghost killing spree, crafted a bunch of crystals, farmed emeralds and crafted a bow. And on day 70, I was back in the end to kill 19 more ender dragons. But it took me 5 days since I misplaced some crystals and had to go get more ghost tears. But in the end, I got all the end gateways opened. And on day 76, I built a honey farm. I like to put it in the spawn chunks since it doesn't produce a lot of lag, and I really can't be bothered with building a bigger one. Day 77 I farmed emeralds again, because I needed to buy some glass to craft bottles for the honey. We are almost at the end of the video, and this is the time when I have to ask you to subscribe. I know I don't have a lot of content on my channel yet, but I sure have more coming out soon. So if you have enjoyed the video, please consider it. On day 78, I gathered resources. On day 79, I built the final farm for this video, and as I watched the sunrise of day 80, it was all done.